Hello, mother. Hello, Tiffany.
Hello, Joshua.
Alright. So, did you guys know that the Bible says music has the power to influence what happens in our lives, good and bad, positive or negative? Well, my name is Roger Wilson, as you guys know, and today I will be talking about the power of music as therapy. With the devastation that's going on in today's world with Ukraine and Russia, sometimes in our personal lives, sometimes we have the need to strive for hope and strive for something we need healing from. Research says that when we are forced with high levels of stress, or high levels of interaction with peers, or high level of interaction or something conflict, as I would say, we tend to listen to more music. According to the Bible, there was a king named Saul who had the spirit of confusion dwelt upon him. It was the first Samuel. He came to pass along the path of another king named David. David, on the other hand, was a harpoonist, which is an instrument player of the instrument called the harpoon or the harp. David taught Saul that with the instrument that he was able to worship God. With that instrument, he was able to create positive energy and calm himself down. He was able to produce good knowledge. He was able to use his dopamine, was what we'll talk about later. I believe that the solution is that the right type of music will help us avoid mistakes. It will help us instead lift our spirits and hearts towards joy and peace. And I believe that is what David did with King Saul. Music is soothing to the soul. Does it ever seem that does it ever seem that music is present everywhere that we go? Have you noticed that you hear music in elevators, churches, nurseries, nurseries, hospitals, when you go on grocery shopping, when you're working out, lifting weights? It seems that music is everywhere that we go at all times. Music is something that we can all look to in bad situations. William George said in 1670 that music can soothe a savage beast. Guess what? The Bible says the exact same thing. First Chronicles 15:25-28 speaks about the Ark of the Covenant and how new singers and instrument players sung around it and played their instruments while the covenant was moving. Throughout Psalms, King David played his musical instruments to show his worship towards God and to produce the good energy as we talked about earlier. And even in Acts 16, about how he talked about King Paul and Silas were both in jail worshiping God with songs, which proves, but my point is that music is indeed powerful. Dopamine, which is another word I mentioned earlier, is a type of neurotransmitter that our bodies make and messages to our other parts of our body when something happens. It plays a role. It's kind of like adrenaline. It plays a role how we feel and act. It plays a role in how we think and make decisions. It plays a role, and it helps us find things that we need to do. Well, did you know that music generates dopamine in our bodies? Research tells us that music therapy has been used in health professions many, many times. This concludes that instruments, physical, mental, emotional, and it helps with children, it helps with adults, it helps with infants. Music and instruments can produce well results for any situation. It is hoped that someday music will also help patients from strokes. It's very big. Well, I have a mentor. His name is Dr. Larry Mercer, and he's the author of a book called Keys to Personal and Professional Success. In this book, he talks about habits that work. He looked at attributes and behaviors at work, school, and at home, and how we should react in every situation, whether it's that our teammate or classmate or coworker make their own decisions or give them advice on what to do, rather to stand up and speak or to sit down and listen. Rather, it is a good time to intervene or a good time to let things work out. And a good time, and when it is a good time to let things that you can't control go, and things that you can control it. My response is that through music, it does not have to be focused on spiritual or gospel music. Sometimes everybody isn't a Christian, but positive influence music, positive energy music tends to make people smile. You don't play happy music and see everybody in the room frowning or with negative energy. If you walk into a building and there's music playing that influences happiness, you tend to see people smiling more. You see people walking with their heads up and chest up. You see people feeling more energetic. You feel people, you know, you feel people, feeling good about themselves. Christians must be the head advocates for this topic. I'm a great advocate for it as well because I feel like as Christians we should especially be pushing people to want to be more happy, and God is a God of happiness. So while we're trying to make people happy, we should bring people closer to God, and bringing people closer to God will make people more happy. Even if people believe that it's just an instant thing, they say, "Hey, um, God, I believe in you, and I should be feel happy now, right?" No, it's not. Happiness is not something that happens. It is something that you choose. You have to choose happiness. You don't get to wake up and say, "Hey, you gotta." But that's just how I feel about it. And in conclusion, that is the end of my speech. So thank you very much. When you do that, it makes me think you're saying keep going.
No, I'm saying wrap it up. And did you move them out? Did you move the PowerPoint between every page?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you meant keep going.
No, I mean, get over with. So we got time to do it because you waited till the last minute. Okay, how do I? Did you press stop?